Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me today is Ben. Hello.
Yo. What's up?
Things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Today we're talking about the anime. The first arc of the anime, Revolutionary Girl Utena. My favorite anime. That's up there.
What a shock. I can't imagine we'd be talking about the thing we both just binge watched. I'm surprised. Yeah, shit is good so far. 13 episodes deep, first season. I believe I was. I mean, where did the hook happen? I don't know, like immediately. Like I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, I suppose I gotta just fucking sit down and watch the last 14 episodes of Kill la Kill so I could not worry about it while I watch this instead. So I sat down and watched like all of the rest of Kill la Kill in like 2 days or whatever the hell it was. So I could watch this and really savor it, and it's been very nice.
Yeah, this show is so good.
It really hits like. So you mentioned it's. Well, I'll let you. Early morning brain, a little foggy. If you want to talk a little bit about who made it, it's a guy who did work. Not all of Sailor Moon, right? But like the first
Kuniko
chunk of it.
Ikuhara he worked at Toei, and he'd worked on a bunch of shows, but like notably, he worked on Sailor Moon, and in the first season he was just high up, and he did a bunch of episodes, which having watched the first season of Sailor Moon, he did all my favorite episodes are the ones he did. Directed, yeah. And then the series director left that show, and Ikuhara took over the whole show, and then was series director for a while. He directed the first Sailor Moon movie, Sailor Moon R. But eventually he left Toei because he wanted more creative control. And there's like, I remember that for the last Sailor Moon movie, he wanted it to be about Sailor Neptune and Uranus, who were gay, and he wanted it to be about them at the end of the world on the moon, just how Sailor Moon, it's the thing that happens in Sailor Moon, and he wanted it to be like a story about them. But so then he left Toei, he started this new creative group, the Bee Papas, with a bunch of other animators and mangaka. Like I know there's like other people from Sailor Moon came with him and stuff. Created this new group specifically to make Utena, and that group only lasts to make Utena, and then he didn't make anything after Utena for a long time. Like gotcha. Utena comes out in like 1997, and Ikuhara doesn't really direct another anime till 2011. Is when Maru Penguin Drum, which is my other favorite anime, comes out.
Hell yeah. I mean, it sounds like I got something else to watch.
Yeah, and he's done 2 other shows since then. He did Yurikuma Arashi and Sarazan Mai. And like some of his... So he has a like distinct visual style, I would say, with his Sailor Moon episodes, but also he's got strong like comedic sensibilities in his stuff. Mm-hmm. Literally my favorite episode of Sailor Moon, which he directed, is like it's making fun of Sailor Moon. Like it focuses on Luna the cat, and it invents this character Rhett Butler, who's just like a complete parody of Tuxedo Mask and is this fat green cat.
Hell yeah.
Instead of throwing a rose, he throws like a fish skeleton with just a fish head still on it.
Pretty good.
And he's just a fucking dweeb, and also just a normal cat.
Amazing.
That's a great episode of television. But yeah, so and Utena kind of draws on stuff like Rose of Versailles and Princess Knight stuff where you have a female character who dresses like a boy and presents in like a male way somehow or whatever. Like and it's influenced by there's what's it? I forget what the theater style is called. But like in Japan there's this Takarazuka, which is it's all female theater and it's kind of avant-garde-y, and Ikuhara is really into it. There are Takarazuka productions of Utena, and that sort of coalesces with like some of the style stuff from Rose of Versailles too. But that influence is clearly there in like the interstitial shadow play girl stuff. Mm-hmm. Although that's like also more Greek chorusy than that stuff. But there's just, there's stuff.
Yeah.
He clearly has influences, but also all his shows have thematics, similar thematics interests, I'll say.
Sure.
And also he's like on record as saying one of his complaints with Sailor Moon was the character of Tuxedo Mask and the way a male character can overshadow female heroines or whatever. So he preferred having lesbian romances as a thing.
Nice.
Is a thing he has said. He's also generally a terrible interview. He just generally doesn't really like I feel like with American TV these days, showrunners are way too eager to explain everything they were thinking about and not like just letting the work speak for itself. And I would say Ikuhara is more one to let the work speak for itself. Like the great questions like, oh, why did you do this thing here? Like, make this choice. And he's like, oh, did we do that? That kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
Also, he said, like, he got the idea of Utena when aliens visited him.
Why not?
But also, like, a bunch of people who worked on Utena worked on Neon Genesis Evangelion, which was notable for, like, sort of pushing the boundaries of what you could do with anime.
Gotcha.
Like, that production was also a mess. But that show was a weird... That show's so weird, but like it's influential, and Utena kind of falls out of that in terms of like the ability to make anime that's trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just say there's also plenty of Evangelion ripoffs that are not trying to do anything other than mirror Eva, and they're bad. So so it goes. It's like. Evangelion has a Watchmen-like place over the anime industry, the way Watchmen looms over comic books, I'd say. So yeah, that's some of the background on the show.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I haven't seen a lot of Sailor Moon. Sort of. I don't remember a lot of Sailor Moon is maybe the better way to phrase it, because when I was super little, like in daycare or whatever, it was on all the time, and I remember watching it like constantly, but I don't remember anything that happens in it. So it's it's almost like the feel of that show or the vibe of it or whatever is still kind of there, or like I don't know, to a certain extent, like maybe just that old, it has a, you can look at Utena and you can be like, yeah, this is from the 90s. Like you're not, I don't know, it has this certain feel to it that just really pulls me.
Sure. Like Utena is also not the highest budget show. It's working with in its restraints, and it like develops its particular style to like make the most of those restraints, I would say.
Yeah.
Like the way it's thoughtful about the way it's using reused footage and sequences and like genre stuff, but it's doing it all very purposefully.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
So I mean, the key thing, well, I mean, not key thing, but it's amazing, is that I guess like the I don't know what to call them, like the repetitive, the things that they do like every episode, right?
like the sequences, the transformation sequences.
See, the equivalent to, I was gonna say transformation, but then I'm like, it's not fully a transformation, but yeah, close enough.
I mean, she gets little flourishes on her outfit.
True.
And it gets, I will say that it will get more elaborate a little bit.
They're great.
Yes.
Like it did. I mean, it's siphoning a little bit from our Kill la Kill episode whenever that happens, but like I just wasn't a fan of those transformation sequences for various reasons. But if you're not a fan of any of that in any anime or show, like, and you have to deal with it all the time, it's not long enough to skip. So you're just watching it. And in this, I'm like, it's fun because as soon as she goes into the forest, the dueling forest, and she starts walking up the stairs, I'm like, here we go. She's walking up the stairs again, and like 10 seconds later, I'm like, here we go. It's a fucking bop again. Like, it's just so good.
The song is so good.
It's so good, dude.
the music in this show is a huge part of it. Like, it's just so fucking great.
It's really good. And then
and like that's a key. If you're repeating a sequence, you gotta have a bop. You gotta have a bop.
Yeah, dude. And when she's getting the sword of Dios out of the Rose Bride, that song's like, I mean, it's a very short thing. It's not like at the forefront, but that song's really good. That vibe is so good. I love that sequence. Like, it's so cool.
And I mean, and also like that they can like really make that animation fucking good because they're gonna use it a lot.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And like, again, like those are, tropes of the genre, but they're not. They're using it to its best effect. And like a big like this is like a great example of you like hitting the pattern, like the repetitive thing over and over and over again, so that when they break it, you really feel it.
Gotcha.
Like in that last episode of the arc, the season, when Utena walks up the stairs and that doesn't happen, like it's a whole different. Or when they go to the dueling forest, because Saionji makes them go there when it's not actually a duel.
Oh yeah,
and like shit's just fucking weird. Like you feel the different vibe.
Yeah.
In your bones.
That episode was wild. Where he like, I guess more or less kidnaps. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Anji. Anthe. I was gonna say I remember a TH in it.
Yeah, it's ANTHY. Yeah. And also, Utena is just a great main character. She's determined and also kind of an idiot.
I mean, that's like the protagonist thing, right?
Yes.
Dude,
Uh-huh.
there's like, have you seen that little picture of like all different protagonists from like Avatar, She-Ra, and all these other cartoons?
No.
Oh, it's like all the smart side characters like talking, and they're like, "Oh no, like protagonist brain doesn't affect us. That's not our problem." And then it like cuts and it shows like Korra and She-Ra like with pots on their head, like banging each other, like seeing who can bang the other one the loudest with their pot on their head. It's good, and all the other protagonists are like standing around cheering. It's good stuff. But yeah.
Korra is such a victim of bad writing. I still always feel bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was I heard a thing that I'm not gonna substantiate recently, that part of the reason the voice actress for Utena got picked was like a lot of the other women who tried to play up the tomboyness or something, but she won because she played up Utena's naivete, which like I think rings through.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Utena dresses like a boy and wants to be a prince and present it. It's not like a wholly defining characteristic of her. Like the big thing is she was taken in by this trauma that happened to her when she was very little, and that has defined her. She's basically Spider-Man, is what I'm saying.
Damn it.
As all good protagonists are, she's
Yeah.
basically Spider-Man.
No, and I was thinking about that while watching as well. Like, based on, of course, like looking at any loose descriptions or whatever. It seems like a lot of them focus on that aspect, right? She's a tomboy. She wants to be a prince. That whole thing, and it's far more. I mean, it's not a focused part of the show. It's just a thing that exists. And
well, that's also like the trope from other stuff that this show is building on top of. Like that's a starting point, but like we're going a place with it. We're not like, that's not like the be all and end all of what we're doing, which is kind of like what Rose of Versailles, that kind of is the be end and end all. It's just this character is here to make this story about Marie Antoinette like palatable, because Rose of Versailles was conceived of as just being a comic all about Marie Antoinette, and because editors were like, no, that's insufferable.
yeah,
We need a character that's actually likable, and thus
I mean, man, one of the when I was kind of like looking up just a little bit more about the show, like before I dove in after the first episode, one of the descriptions was something, it gave like loose plot description, just like of the general thing that's going to happen, but the other thing it said was, in theory, everybody in the show is just bisexual as hell. Like, and just how like none of it's made me think a little bit, because like nothing regarding like gender or sexuality like seems to matter. Like in the very first episode, what's Utena's best friend? The one that like keeps jumping on her. Is that Ruka? No. It's not listed in the character lists that I can see. Oh, maybe it's just miscellaneous? No. I don't know, dude. Apparently she's not important enough to get her own link on Wikipedia.
Wakaba.
Yeah, Wakaba. Like she says, in like the first episode, she says she's waiting for her boyfriend, and then the other girls that are passing by and being kind of bitchy are like, yeah, she's like she skipped out or whatever. She's doing other stuff, and I was thinking about that a lot, right? Because I'm still dealing with that stuff a little bit, still learning, and I'm like, okay, but they said like boyfriend, but then they said she, like, but like I want to know more. Like, do we get to know anything about this or whatever? And then I realized it doesn't fucking matter, like at all.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Why are you thinking about it so much, me? So that's been nice, you know.
I mean, it's so having watched a bunch of, or been exposed to a bunch of shoujo stuff, like the impression I get is that it's just way more okay for girls who are still in school to like have crushes on girls, and like that's like socially acceptable, but like you're still expected to grow up and get a husband and have kids or whatever. Like some of that, the way that that's treated is just you're like allowed to be performatively like girls are performatively allowed to have crushes when they're still kids.
Gotcha.
Like
That's interesting.
That's a thing. So there's a lot of shoujo manga with like, with the schoolgirls like being like crushing on some domineering female
like,
authority figure,
dude.
like that's not uncommon at
every
all.
single. I mean, it's new for me though.
Yeah, sure.
My
I would say
lack of
that's a
experience.
feature of some of this genre.
Okay, interesting.
It's like, so like a lot, the way that gender and sexuality matter in this show, it's people have roles there that determine their lives, and Utena's just like, the notable thing is she's just like sitting in this different role than like a normal girl.
Yeah,
But once people accept her in that role, she can sit in that role. That's fine.
yeah.
So that's some of that stuff is just the way that isn't as standoutish. Like Ikuharu's another Ikuharu show, Yurikuma Arashi, which is much more about this kind of like hits harder of like it has this thing of the invisible storm, which is like teenage like girls like voting somebody out of their society, basically like all shunning at one person because they've stepped out of line. So that's way more a thing in that.
Yeah.
That show is way more about the lesbianism or whatever, and the way Japan deals with it. I would say also about bears who eat people, but
I mean, that's a classic. So
but
yeah, I mean, it took. I debated. I was thinking after I finished the season. I was last night actually. I was like, could I watch like 2 episodes of season 2 before the podcast? I'm like, no, we'll just wait it out. Like we'll talk about it. Don't get ahead of yourself. But I was ready. I was like ready to go.
yeah. I mean, it just like it sets up a whole new formula that it will then play out for. Although I realize that the second season is not 13 episodes; it only runs through episode 23.
Okay,
last arc has, which is just longer.
But man, Toga is a bitch. maybe there's there and there even if
True.
there's a reason for it revealed later, like he's still a bitch. So
I
like,
mean, he's out for power. He kind of doesn't care about anything else.
like this guy has read Berserk, clearly. Got Griffith up in here.
He likes fucking, and he wants to take over the world.
Speaking of
power
fucking, it took me, and this was the question I was trying to find in the character list that I couldn't find. Nanami, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, is it actually his sister? Is she
Yes.
actually his sister? Or is
Yes.
this like a weird call me daddy thing, except with brother? And yeah, finally I found her listing on the page, and yeah, it says like younger sister whose love for her brother borders on obsession and incest. I'm like, borders on. That bitch killed a cat.
She did.
She
true.
drowned a fucking kitten for getting in between her and her
So the
brother.
thing with this show is all the sibling relationships are fucked, and they're bad. But the show is like doing it because they're bad.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not gonna come around and say expect you to feel okay about this. It's supposed to be fucked.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it is it is a core part of. I would say it is a core part of the show.
I mean, that's whatever.
That it is part of the way in which this world is fucked.
There's a lot of stuff
And unbalanced.
and there's a lot of stuff in this show that, well, I mean, between this show and like even when I was watching Kill la Kill and stuff, right? I've been thinking more because I remember you said you didn't bother mentioning it at all because like student council stuff.
Yep.
Like this is fine. I mean, I'm still not a huge fan of it. Like, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to just like have my own headcanon where like everybody here is in university or something because like whatever. But then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, middle school. And I'm like, okay, all right, just keep it together. It's fine. But like
It's not exactly American middle school. Like,
yeah,
Utena's 14. It's still incredibly young for the material, but it's like it's a little different just because it's broken up into. It's just broken up a little differently. Where high school is like a year later.
Yeah. But it doesn't.
It's still bad.
It doesn't. It doesn't feel terrible. Like part of my deal with like Kill la Kill, I guess to an extent, Food Wars, like the 2 episodes I saw or whatever, and I guess did it also happen in Prison School? I mean, that's a joke of an anime.
I never watched
anyway.
that one. So.
I mean, it's hilarious, but at least that's like its shtick, you know. What really bugs me is specifically when the student council is not just like, okay, you want, like, fine, they run the school or whatever, but like Kill la Kill is, you know, it's not just the fucking school. Like the student council is the dominant force on the entire planet, and like all the student councils are portrayed to be like, it's just a ridiculous level. And like, even if it's not quite that extreme, like I think as far as I recall, the brief bit of Food Wars I watched, like that student council chick is like running the school to an extent, or they set it up to feel that way, and I'm just like, I'm bailing.
Yeah, sure. Like Kill la Kill is a weird example because Kill la Kill is all about taking everything to 11.
Yeah.
It's about taking that trope and, you know, going all the way with it like it is with everything it's doing.
Yeah. It's a different, but like here, just because it's, you know, it's a little more reserved, so it would definitely it just would feel it doesn't feel that bad because there's not anyone like I think there was one of the student council members had like a minor interaction with a principal or a teacher or something, and it was literally just like, we're not going to lunch anymore. Like it was totally fine. It's not like there was some epic speech nonsense or whatever where they were like, you're a worthless pig and this school is our whatever. I don't know, but it's fine.
I don't know.
Like this doesn't bother me really, and it helps that there's a shitload of other stuff that like, even if it was a little more into that territory, I don't think it would matter because like everything else is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing about Utena is it's so incredibly structured, and then you get Nanami episodes.
Dude, yeah, the one where they go to where they're looking for the spice. Oh, it was so good. The elephants just keep coming.
The elephants are a good bit. It's
really
a quality
solid
bit. Just every time. It's like, oh, we're going for this time we're finally gonna do it. Elephants show
like
up
on a
every time.
climbing a cliff face, elephant just drops. So good.
It just keeps getting more and more ridiculous till you get elephant surfing.
It's so good.
The greatest image ever created.
I love it. I mean, I love it at the same time. Like, I hate it because it made me think of Daniel X. So, like, elephants are ruined for me every time.
Yeah.
But no, the elephants,
and that's those,
good.
because that's like just like cartoon shit, which is
Yeah.
a big thing of like difference between the Sailor Moon anime and the manga is like the injection of that fucking cartoon nonsense humor that honestly I love. So
Yeah, dude.
it makes me like it more. I fucking love the kangaroo.
Dude,
I love it so much.
the kangaroo fucking rolling up, so good. Oh my god.
And when it punches Wabuki and the ding, oh
Yeah.
the freeze frame with the ding, it's so good.
Man.
Yeah.
I also
That's my favorite character in the show is Nanami. It wasn't, and I only decided that after like my second time having watched the whole thing, but because of like the way in which just the universe fucking hates her and the episodes that they make that way. Yeah. Even though she killed that cat when she was little.
I mean, like, it's kind of karma. Like, the universe didn't hate her. And she gave it reason.
No, the universe already hated her. The universe inherently hates her. It's just a thing.
Whatever. Well, okay, fine. The universe knew she was going to kill a cat. That was so rough. I thought for sure.
It's very rough.
I thought for sure that there would be some sort of intervention, or we would like find out that the cat wasn't in the box or something. But like, nope. That cat was tossed in the river. That's no good.
Look, if you can't, the show's gonna get rough again. Spoiler warning.
I mean, that's fine.
Be ready.
Like later, you wouldn't. Oh no, you've already gotten there. I mean, JoJo, that guy hates dogs. Like he fucking hates dogs.
I don't think there's anything else with animals.
Yeah.
So it's not that kind of, but like,
yeah, just
human
general
interaction stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna get dark. It's gonna get dark.
That's fine. I don't mind. I mean, it's probably better than some of the. I'm so glad the like sexual assault jokes and Kill la Kill like fizzle out. Like they don't keep doing them. That was a relief.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, they're no good.
Like getting dark is fine. Like having those jokes is I'm not about that.
Sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, frankly, just Ikuhara is good enough, and I know he's going somewhere with everything he does, that I trust him with doing material that I wouldn't trust almost anyone else.
That's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big part of it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's such a I know we're doing the separate episode, but I can't keep coming back to Kill la Kill is like just a thing because now I've seen both of them. And it's just like it's so much more like Utena is so much like the dueling especially is just there's a purity there that I that I really enjoy. Maybe it's
I mean, it's much the anime if you're a person that just cares about pure raw animation, it's much more less impressive.
it's
But
less,
the story it's telling and what it's doing with the animation budget it has, it's like fucking remarkable.
yeah.
like I only made an anime tier list in my head. I only started doing that in my brain because I'm like, oh well, Utena's top tier, and then I can build it down from there.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like this show is like the reason I even did that, and
Hell yeah.
I started doing that in my head way before I ever wrote up a list. But just having that whole idea like starts because this show is doing so much with its resources and it's telling such an interesting story and and it's just fucking funny.
It's very good. The little Choo Choo, the little monkey dude, great. Absolutely, like a perfect like little silly animal sidekick character. Like, dude doesn't talk. It's not like overtly ridiculous. It's just cute little animal things that are silly. I love it. And some of them are very
almost
good.
Dies from eating.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I feel it.
He's a monkey and a mouse. He's both.
And then for a little while, he was a
Saionji.
Dude, at the end of that
episode,
the end of that episode,
Saionji in the tree.
It said, yeah, him with the banana.
Yeah.
It said to be continued. I'm like, holy shit, are we gonna like this is gonna be the next episode?
No, every episode says to be continued. Basically.
Oh man. I was ready though. I was ready for Monkey Man to cause chaos. I mean, I don't know, dude. We had a kangaroo boxing match. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. What was your favorite duel?
My favorite duel. I mean, it's pretty hard to not really like that last one where her sword breaks and we get the
I love how they reuse the same like framing as her first duel with Saionji when she had the broken wooden spear and then cross, but this time she's a broken actual sword.
Dude, it's so good.
That shit's the repeating motifs are so good there. But I think my favorite duel is still the jury duel, because that ending, there's two parts, like the way Jury just fucking throws Utena after deflecting the like Dios attack.
Yeah.
Like her determination is so strong, and then like denying miracles, and then the sword dropping on her rose.
It's really good, dude. It's so, I don't know. I guess
deny miracles and a miracle will happen.
I just love that the stuff that is. I mean, obviously we have our our elephant vendettas, but like the stuff that's happening is, and I appreciate craziness, but like this has been a very nice thing, like coming down where it's like the sword falling, right? Like that could easily be in other anime and other setups, like that could be a joke, right? That could be like a wonky thing that happens to end the fight and be played off a little. But here it's like this serious thing, and it like everything like that just hits. It just all
They've been building, and like that this character is just like rejecting miracles because of something somebody said to her.
Yeah.
And like all that emotion that's built into that, and then fucking that happens to her. Just
yeah,
like,
dude.
To totally fucking lose. But I fucking love the animation when she throws Utena. Like that piece of animation is just so good.
It was very solid. Yeah. No, I'm ready. I'm so ready for season 2. Like I'm gonna die.
So, a thing that you might not have picked up on is that the way this show uses color is completely deliberate. And like,
are you talking about red?
All the colors.
All the colors.
All
okay.
Have a meaning attached to them.
Oh shit!
And it's generally,
for
the and particularly with the characters' hair colors, and it's like most directly tied to like the path they're on to try and bring revolution.
So I feel like I should have picked up on this because that's like part of the last episode, right? Like the clip show stuff when he's going through. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Like I picked up on the like relating the like love or trust or whatever to each character. Like, okay, he's saying this adjective and showing this color. It is this person because they have that color hair. That's easy enough, but like I didn't.
The way they'll also use it is when they have the roses circling in the corner.
Yes,
that will be like that will be like how someone's perceiving someone else, or how like they're like outwardly acting or whatever. Unless it's Choo Choo and then it's spinning bananas because he's Choo Choo.
I definitely noticed the different colors of roses. I didn't.
So like the obvious ones are, green is eternity, blue is a shining thing.
Is red just
orange,
ambition?
Orange like being miracles. Red is power.
Power, yeah.
That's why the Rose Bride's dress is red.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You're talking sense.
White is the color of the prince. So Utena being pink is like power and the prince kind of thing.
Okay.
And then black is like death or memory. That's why Utena's outfit is black. Mostly.
Okay, there's a lot there. Okay, a lot more that
like, that's what I'm like the show. So like once you see that, like once you know that, like watching the shows is also like it's worth paying attention to like things because of stuff like that. They're very deliberate about the choices they're making with that stuff.
What I am hearing, all I'm hearing is that you're giving me permission to approach this show from an overthinking English major perspective.
Oh, totally. Many overthinking English majors who love anime have written about Utena.
Oh, finally. Jesus. All right. Well, after we come back from season 2, or maybe for our upcoming Salt Pile episode, I'll hit you with I'll go back through season 1 maybe even, and I'll explain why the curtains are blue. Okay. I mean, that's nice. Obviously, approaching everything with that mindset is infuriating to everyone involved, but it's fun to do once in a while. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
And then there's stuff that's like, I still don't really know what the point of it is. Like, Mickey is always checking time with his stopwatch.
Well, that's
like sometimes.
I was really hoping we'd get an answer for that one.
No, I really don't know. I've heard some theories.
I'll figure it out.
Like, just like that he's trying to time. His time is wrong.
I'll figure it out. That'll be I'll pay attention to it over the course of the series, and when we wrap up, I'll let you know. Definitive answer.
But yeah, like just that. So that was all. That's also just like, a thing where the show rewards reviewing.
Yeah, nice
and stuff. And when I watched it in college, I was like, "This show's super pretentious. That's awesome." Also, there's a kangaroo that punches people. Best of both worlds.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, it's perfect. That humor it is really good at hitting with that shit.
Yeah.
And literally hitting people with a kangaroo.
Uh-huh. Like, it takes itself super seriously when it needs to, but also it can be the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Just be incredibly silly, because that's good too.
Fuck yeah. If we have more thoughts, that is fine. I did just get a text from work though. So I got the best laid plans.
I think that's pretty much
okay.
We could go on, but
yeah,
I think we've hit the major stuff.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you want to get like super into plotty things, but it's pretty simple right
if you
now.
Need to, if you don't need to, you can go. The only thing I want to like I don't know.
Well,
like when we get the flashback with Utena in the coffin.
Right. That's all literal, right? Like Toga helped her or like said that stuff to her, yeah. And it's like a coincidence that she's at the school with
Toga. Toga and Sayonji found her in the coffin.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like they interacted with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Toga's not her prince.
No, obviously. I mean, especially
she's. You don't even have to overthink this. Like, you can see the prince's hair in the opening.
100%.
Not Toga's hair.
Yeah. It's not. They're not the same person. But Toga.
Also, you see Dios's face. Doesn't look like Toga.
Yeah, but
he comes down.
But Toga is just a nice guy, like the prince.
Oh yeah, I mean Toga is like the prince. I'll say that much. he's not lying. He says it was a guy like me.
Just every time he calls himself a nice guy, though, I'm like,
yeah,
women everywhere see through your bullshit, dude.
Yeah. Like, spoiler, that's who he's talking to on the phone at the end.
Yeah, no,
End of the world. Like, it's not a mystery.
Yeah, no, I put that bit together.
Mm. And I just, like my last thing will just be, I really do think like the fairy tale at the beginning of the way we get introduced to Utena's backstory of like the princess whose parents died, like the way it tells that story is like a fairy tale. Like that's the hook for me of like even just like the way that gets presented.
Yeah, No, it's very
like-
good.
And just she decided first, but was that really such a good idea? Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
all there for me.
Oh, it's
like,
a solid opening.
I think that's a really great opening to the show.
It did take me too long to realize that it was also part of the opening, like the theme, or its theme like intro.
They don't do it every time.
I know they don't.
They do it a bunch.
So when they did it the second time, I thought like it was going to be different, like it was going to continue.
Oh,
or
no,
something.
no. Just
and then it like just repeated, and I'm like,
yeah.
did I miss something? Like I was
No.
a little confused, and then I figured it out.
Look, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine to get the same thing repeated to you again.
yeah.
You're getting
no, I mean,
getting
especially-
indoctrinated
Yeah, and it's like
into its
especially-
myth.
especially when it's good shit.
Yeah. Well, also, because like, like the voice. I think the voice that's telling that story, and that like repeats the Dios line when the power comes down. I think that's the same voice as Utena when she's a little kid. Like that's her memory
Gotcha.
of that event. That's like not necessarily exactly how it went down, but that's like what she took away from it, what she remembers.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I just love the way that the show is building on the way that like myth and fairy tales don't like break the real world or whatever, and don't hold up
Yeah.
to reality.
It's really good.
It is an excellent show that's very entertaining. Like, just every time I'm like watching Utena, it's like, man, it is hard to hold in your brain how good Utena is. So it's kind of always a treat to watch, because it's like, man, this like thing just moves. Like the episodes just go down so quickly.
Yeah, dude.
Because they're so, even though they're so structured, they just like they fly by.
I mean, I had
Before
time.
you know it, you're getting
I had time to do
Setai.
like 5 episodes of season 2. I
Man.
was tempted.
that would be like half of it.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there. I had the mouse hovering over the first episode.
Look, it's fine. I watched a couple episodes from the last arc to refresh myself.
Hell yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part 1 of Utena. It's good. Watch it.
It's
Highly
super good.
recommend.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm jacked. I'm ready for more.
I'm very glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. Email us saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. We're on Salt Circle Podcast on major podcasting platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and I'm on Twitter @ComicPanels.
I'm not on Twitter, but I am looking forward to littering our Utena episodes with Kill la Kill talk, and then when we do the Kill la Kill episode, just referring back to Utena constantly.
Hell yes.
Oh.
This is the way.
Yeah, I have the tools necessary. I'm